Hey, this is Anthony with RevZilla. So you can watch, decide, and ride. Welcome to our detailed breakdown of the new Arai VX Pro 4 helmet, available at RevZilla.com. New, sliding into 2015, this is the VX Pro 4, completely redesigned to hit the new 2015 Snell standard from Arai. This is my new tech graphic. They're solids. There are going to be frost. There's also going to be other graphics available, and if we look at it, it's very aggressive. It's one of the first things that jumps out, and you can see I have a VX Pro 4 in front of me, and to my left I have the VX Pro 3. Now there's a lot that they changed in this helmet that I really like. Besides the Snell 2015 standard, obviously it's DOT and it's top end from Arai. You're gonna spend north of 5 bones on this bad boy. There is one thing that I'm not a big fan of, and that is the fact that they've added 4 ounces to this helmet. So again, we went from 3 pounds 3 ounces to 3 pounds 7, still under that 3.5 pound mark. But again, that's gonna be the increased demands of the Snell standard as they go down the pipe. But it is a top-end helmet that's designed and engineered to protect you. Now let's move into what they've changed that I've absolutely loved. So you're sacrificing a little bit of weight. Let's talk about the aggressive new look of it. It definitely has a new line. Remember, this is an energy management system. Outer shell is going to be the complex laminate construction, top end from Arai. Again, playing in that pool, complex resins and fibers. But what you're going to see is the peak is completely redesigned. The peak is 5 millimeters wider and 14 millimeters longer, so better protection from roost. As always, you're going to see that underneath that peak, you're going to have that great area that's going to give you that dampening from the reflective or glare from the sun's rays. But what they've also done is you can come in here, you can see all that negative space, dramatic cutaways. I'm going to bring up last year's model, the VX Pro 3. What they're doing is they're creating more areas for the air to flow through so that you're not having the sail factor of that peak at speed wanting to lift your head up. Again, a really nice touch. The other thing they've done on this helmet, you'll notice the chin vents. The chin vents are now external and integrated versus completely integrated from the inside out. So what you're going to see is on the 4, they sit in front. Still 3 big vents, again flowing a ton of air, again blocking roost. But on the 3, what they had was they were integrated, so it shortened your porch up a little bit. Notice the rounded chin bar design. That's the design that if it breaks, it's going to break out instead of break in on you. A lot of times you've seen a lot of manufacturers do that straight line design. Arai has avoided that. But again, the reasoning here is to give you more clearance. It's to allow for some more clearance from the face out, or from your chin and nose out. The other big thing, and I'm going to walk through some of the other nuances as we move through it, is they've redesigned the vent scheme. There are 2 issues with the previous vent scheme, or really only one. And the issue was, on the previous model, you had these controls for open and close. And they found that most guys that are riding moto really don't ever close those vents. So what it was doing, it was giving you this little piece that was very easily breakable if you took a header. And they wanted to get away from that. So they made all the vents passive. They created one set screw that allows you to replace this entire external housing mechanism. They made them translucent so you can see through, and they've actually added an additional one right here on the top. So you're going to get an 8th vent. So it's still that reverse horseshoe design. So you're going to be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and then you'd have 7, 8 on top. So again, a lot of ventilation going to 10 millimeter vent holes through the helmet. Again, but they're all passive in venturi, meaning non-closable, but again, giving you the best chance for extraction. They've also refined the winglet vents down here, so now they're notched on both sides. So now they're just not sucking from the back side, they're actually passing air in through the inside. So air flows in over that hole, accelerates, picks up speed, and pulls the warm, moist air out of the helmet. That's your 3 big changes. Your vent scheme, your peak, and then your jawline. Again, well, you did add a little bit of weight over the VX Pro 3. Now I want to talk briefly about the fitment here, and then we're going to walk through all of the nuances inside and out. Fitment's going to be intermediate oval, a little bit of extra room in the temples. It's what I would consider more that Arai RXQ shape. So again, a little bit slightly longer front to back, nothing crazy like a Signet Q that's going to be really long. But the nice part is on the comfort liner, you have 5 millimeter pads that are tear-offable to give you a little bit more width in your temples. And then down here along the cheek pads, which are going to be die cut with the covers off, you have the top layer that's removable as well. So you're really able to tune these Arai helmets. Now remember, if you're a completely round helmet, or if you're not sure if this is going to work for you, we do ship for free over $39. And as always, click right here, leave me your comments, your questions, your feedback after you subscribe to us at RevZilla TV on our YouTube channel. Now, let's walk into the nuances of the helmet. Work from the outside in. We talked about the complex laminate construction. We also talked about the ventilation scheme and the translucent back. I'm not going to spend any more time there. Notice urethane bolts on the side of your peak here, and you can see the urethane set screw on top here as well. That's easily to manipulate with your finger. This is how you manipulate the angle of your peak, and then you have the ability to ratchet it down. And because it's not a metal bolt, it's going to shear away in the event of a crash. This is going to shear right off. Hopefully you don't have to replace it, but you'll replace the bolts. They're quick and easy. Now notice underneath, you're going to see the chimney vents here. Again, two position. They are open and closable because they're the front on versus the passive on the back. Easy to find with the gloved hand. And then as you're going to move down to the eye port here, you can notice some new additions. These gaskets are these stability areas here on the side. They're done, it's a PU material. They're there so that your goggle strap is going to interface with them and stay in the right spot. And as I rotate it around, you're also going to notice for the first time from Arai, you have this area from the top of the winglet to the bottom of the vent. This area is where your goggle strap's going to go and it's going to stay. In the past, they had guys that were riding Arai helmets with their goggle strap that moved around on them, or you had to really hope that your goggle had that silicone on it. Now with this helmet, you're going to see the difference between the two. They have a clearly defined channel where your goggle strap needs to live. Now, as I work my way down the rest of the way, remember we talked about the rounding of the chin bar here. The way this juts out, if it ever breaks on you, it's going to break out versus break in, so you're never going to have to wrestle with the fiberglass coming straight at you. Again, that is a safety feature that's part of the design from Arai. Remember, even with this hyper ridge here, it's an energy management system. It takes the shock, disperses it throughout the entire helmet. Those waves would disperse all the way around. They're going to lengthen that impact. Again, helmets are energy management systems meant to take a shock and disperse it. Moving towards the front, we talked about the ventilation scheme here. You do have a removable breath guard. One of the things I'm going to call out really quickly though is the back. The back of this breath guard right here on the inside is now removable. Previous models of this helmet, you were unable to pull this out. Now you can completely direct the airflow by removing your adjustable vent on the inside. So it does have an open and close to it. As you can see in my hand there, definitely open, or that's closed. There's definitely open right there and halfway. Now you can pull it completely out and get tons of airflow going in throughout the helmet. Again, a really nice touch. So as we move from the exterior, now let's bring my donut on and let's rock into the guts. I'm going to flip it on its side, and Arai is very good with their guts typically, and they've redesigned some things here for 2015. Now if we look at it, you're going to see this is your dry cool lining. Again, antimicrobial, antibacterial, wicking. These are meant to soak up sweat for an entire day. They've changed their FCS, their facial contour system. So what that means is the density of the foam slightly different, the contour slightly different. What it's going to do is pick up sweat off you, and if you're riding a 6-hour moto, this is going to do a better job of staying in place and supporting your jawline and the helmet for a longer distance. Sometimes with the previous version, that foam would get really, really soggy. And again, it is a very, very high-end helmet, but you might have a little bit of wiggle at the end of the day. They've revamped that for this year. You're also going to notice that the neck roll is now removable. And when I start to remove things out, they've gotten rid of that vent in the back, they've integrated it, and now I can remove everything and wash it. The other thing you're gonna see is they've changed the emergency cheek pad removal system. Now, Arai, I believe, was the guy that invented the emergency cheek pad removal system. And that's how when you're out cold and EMT is able to get the cheek pads out, so you can slide this bad boy off your head without twisting your neck if there might be an issue. So what we have now, this little functional tab, doesn't tell the paramedic that it's there. It's actually a pull tab, comes out, and that slides out that simply. That's beautiful. That is the best version of this we've ever seen. Bravo, Arai, you've iterated, it's really, really well done. And notice when this comes out, again, it's a dense piece of EPS. You have your dual densities, or multiple densities really, of foam on the front. I'm gonna bring this apart for you here really quickly so you can see the yellow, the way that it integrates. Notice that these are die cut and glued, so you can remove that top layer if you wanna shave a millimeter or two off. Again, multiple density. This is the new beefed up FCS system, facial contour system from Arai. Now, if I open up my other side here, and I can pull it out that simply, again, that's without integrating, without pulling the emergency cheek pad removal systems. What you're gonna see is that I have my basic guts here, and they're really not that basic, but as I start to remove it, I'm gonna pull my comfort liner out. And the way that Arai does this, they do snaps under the occipital ridge of your head on the back, and they do 2 chimney snaps, which are up on the forehead, and I find some folks feel these, some don't. But what you have is your 3D comfort liner, and notice that it is like a complex model airplane. I mean, they just go for it here. So you have multiple areas of different density foams. You have these different winglets on the side, which are glued and completely removable. That's to give you a little bit more if you want a little bit more on the circumference or around the temples. It's going to be antimicrobial. It's going to be sweat wicking. You'll notice even on the top, different materials that are different levels of porousness. Again, pulling sweat away from your head, drying really, really quickly. And again, 2 snaps in the front, 2 snaps in the back that you're never going to feel, and multiple densities of foam. Now, what I do love that they've done, you can see it in here, they've given you the ability now to remove your neck roll, which they didn't do in the past, and they find the back of your head really tends to pull sweat. So now they have the removable, fully removable neck roll that has a piece of foam padding in it as well. And again, that's still that dry, cool lining. If we break open the helmet and you start to look at the guts, 10mm vent holes, big, gnarly vent holes, flowing a ton of air to your head, again, channeling throughout the helmet, extracting out of the rear diffuser vents. Again, just really, really well done. This is a pro-level dirt helmet, capitalizing on all the Arai technology that they've used in years past across their full line of pro-level helmets. Again, super protective, great ventilating, making sure it stays comfortable, rides with you all day, and you really get years and years and years of use out of it. So the next step in your journey is to click right here, read other rider reviews of the new Arai VX Pro 4 at RevZilla.com. There's the new tech graphic, there's the tap graphic, a bunch of other graphics. You're also going to see frost and gloss solids available. Remember, you don't have to take my word for it. See what other riders who are beating the crap out of it are saying. As always, we're going to ship for free, over 39 bucks. If you want to talk to a gear geek, see us at RevZilla.com or 877-792-9455. And remember, thanks for watching our detailed breakdown of the new Arai VX Pro 4 helmet. Subscribe to me on YouTube. Leave me your comments and your questions. I'm Anthony. We'll see you next time.